Is a new global threat hiding in the shadows of our modern world? It starts with a fever that feels like any other seasonal flu. Then, your body begins to struggle for air as if you were drowning on dry land. This isn't COVID-19, nor is it a common respiratory infection. This is hantavirus, specifically the deadly Andes strain from South America. At Visual Link, we are investigating if this rodent-borne killer has the potential to become the next global pandemic. As of May 2026, the world is watching a terrifying real-time test of this theory unfolding in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. A Dutch cruise ship, the MV Hondius, has been struck by an outbreak that has already claimed 3 lives and left several others in critical condition. The vessel departed Ushuaia, Argentina, on April 1st, carrying 147 passengers and crew into what would become a floating biological crisis. Before we break down the biological jump required for a pandemic, please share and subscribe to help us track these emerging threats across the globe. The luxury of a polar cruise became a nightmare after a stop in South America, where passengers likely encountered the rare Andes strain. This isn't your average virus. The Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is a biological wrecking ball with a mortality rate that can reach up to 40% or even 50% in severe clusters. If you find these medical deep dives essential for your preparation, make sure to share and subscribe to stay ahead of the curve in an increasingly volatile world. The early symptoms are deceptively common: a sudden fever, deep muscle aches in the thighs and back, and intense fatigue. You might feel a headache coming on or experience chills and stomach issues, leading you to believe it's just a bad case of the flu or food poisoning. But within 4 to 10 days, the late stage begins, and the situation turns critical with breathtaking speed. The primary symptom of this phase is a sudden, sharp shortness of breath and a persistent cough as the lungs begin to fail under the weight of internal fluid. The reason this virus is so effective at causing harm is due to how it interacts with your internal plumbing at a microscopic level. In a 3D view of the lungs, you can see how the virus targets the capillaries, the tiny vessels that move oxygen into your blood. Instead of staying contained, the virus causes these vessels to become porous and leaky through a massive immune overreaction. The fluid that should stay in your bloodstream begins to seep directly into the air sacs of the lungs, effectively drowning the patient from the inside out. Technically, the cause of death is often respiratory failure, because the lungs are too full of fluid to process oxygen, but the heart is equally under siege. Your heart has to work double time to pump oxygen that isn't there, leading to a total system shutdown and cardiogenic shock. The virus is typically contracted by breathing in invisible particles from rodent nesting materials or waste, a process known as aerosolization. Currently, hantavirus is not classified as a pandemic because it lacks one critical feature: efficient and sustained human-to-human transmission. But the situation on the MV Hondius has changed the conversation entirely, sparking fears of a more transmissible mutation. At least 23 passengers disembarked the ship at St. Helena and returned to their home countries before the outbreak was even confirmed by lab tests. These travelers have now dispersed to the US, Australia, Switzerland, and beyond, sparking a massive international effort to find them before more people fall ill. The World Health Organization is specifically worried about the Andes strain, which is the only version of hantavirus known to spread between people. In the close quarters of a cruise ship, the virus may have found the perfect environment to practice moving from host to host through respiratory droplets. If hantavirus were to mutate to spread as easily as a common cold or the Omicron variant, our global systems would face a catastrophic challenge. A pandemic requires a virus to be highly contagious, but hantavirus is currently limited by its reliance on specific rodents and very close human contact. Interestingly, hantavirus often targets young, healthy adults because their strong immune systems overreact to the infection in a cytokine storm. This overdefense leads to more fluid buildup, making the virus more dangerous for those who are physically fit than for those with weaker immunity. The incubation period can last up to 7 weeks, meaning an infected person could travel across the globe twice over before feeling a single ache. The case of the Swiss passenger who tested positive after arriving home proves that the virus can travel faster than our current ability to contain it. There is no specific cure, no antiviral drug, and no widely available vaccine. Treatment is strictly supportive, focusing on oxygen and ICU care. While we aren't in a hantavirus pandemic yet, scientists are monitoring hotspots in South America and now Africa where new mutations could emerge. The key to prevention is keeping your environment clean and sealing up any gaps where rodents might enter your home or workplace. If you find a mess in a shed or attic, never stir up the dust. Use disinfectant to wet the area down so no particles enter the air you breathe. If the virus evolved to survive longer on surfaces or in the air, our modern, busy world would become a high-risk environment overnight. We must respect the boundaries between our expanding cities and the wild, where these microscopic threats are born and nurtured. Visual Link is dedicated to bringing you the science behind the headlines, separating viral fear from factual biological reality. The next pandemic might not be a new virus, but an old one like Hantavirus that finally figured out how to thrive in a human host. Every hour that the disembarked passengers remain untraced is an hour the virus has to find a new path through our interconnected society. The mortality rate isn't just a statistic. It represents a level of biological aggression that we must take seriously as a species. As the virus travels through the bloodstream, it doesn't just stay in the lungs. It can affect the heart's ability to pump effectively, leading to collapse. This secondary cardiac impact is why many doctors now refer to the disease as Hantavirus cardiopulmonary syndrome, HCPS. The sudden drop in blood pressure, known as hypotension, can cause the body to go into a state of shock within minutes of the respiratory symptoms. Unlike many other respiratory viruses, Hantavirus does not typically cause a runny nose or a sore throat, which are signs of the common cold. Because the symptoms start so deep in the chest, by the time you feel the need to cough, the internal damage is already advanced. Advanced 3D imaging shows that the virus doesn't actually kill the lung cells directly, but tricks the body into attacking its own vascular walls. This biological glitch is what makes the Andes strain particularly fascinating and terrifying to researchers worldwide. International health agencies are now debating whether to reclassify this strain as a higher-level global security threat. Port health services in Africa and Europe have been placed on high alert, screening travelers for any signs of unexplained fever or distress. Recently, South Africa has become a focal point as several infected passengers disembarked or were treated within its borders. Health officials in Johannesburg have confirmed that despite a major local rodent population, South African rats are currently safe from hantavirus. The health minister reassured the public that the virus is not endemic to the region, meaning local rodents do not naturally carry the Andes strain. This distinction is vital for preventing public panic, as the local rat problem in cities like Johannesburg does not equate to an indigenous hantavirus risk. The virus being treated in South African hospitals arrived via travel, not through the local wildlife or urban pests that residents encounter daily. Every passenger being tracked represents a potential link in a chain that scientists are desperate to break before it reaches the general public. The sheer speed of modern air travel means that a rodent-borne disease can become a human-carried one in less than 24 hours. If we don't improve our global surveillance of these emerging pathogens, we may find ourselves fighting a war we aren't prepared for. The story of the MV Hondius is a wake-up call for the shipping and travel industries to rethink their health and safety protocols during outbreaks. Science is our only shield, but that shield is only as strong as the data we collect and the actions we take to protect one another. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep your living spaces secure from the silent carriers of this hidden, microscopic threat. As we conclude this investigation, please share and subscribe to support our work in health education and global awareness. Your engagement is the visual link that allows us to keep digging into the mysteries of modern survival and scientific breakthroughs. Don't take your breath for granted today. Instead, appreciate the complex systems that keep you safe every single second. The threat of hantavirus is a reminder that we are always one small genetic change away from a new global reality. We will see you in the next video, where we will explore the next frontier of science and global security. Knowledge is your best defense, so keep your mind sharp and your curiosity alive as we navigate these uncertain times together. The horizon of science is always expanding, and we are honored to have you as part of our community of explorers. One last reminder to hit that share and subscribe button to ensure you never miss our deep dives into the unknown. Thank you for watching, and stay safe in a world that is far more complex and interconnected than it appears. The map of the future is written in the tiny details of our biology and the world around us. The air you breathe is a gift. Keep it clean and keep your eyes open for the signs of change.